Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. I have a really fun video for us today. I have another new old sewing machine. Found this at the thrift store and I don't know much about it. You can tell by the case. It's been around for a while. It's really heavy and it's pretty old as well. So we're going to open this up and see what we've got on our hands, and we'll see what we can get done with this today. So I do believe this is a Singer 223, and I think it's from the 60s from what I can tell. I really haven't had time to take a look at it or anything like that, so we are kind of doing that together here. But it does look like we've got a good foot pedal here, so that's good, and the cords seem like they're all intact, so that's a good start. I do think Singer wheels go toward you, and that is correct, and it does spin freely, so that's good news as well. It's a little rough, so I think it could use some oil for sure. Looks like it hasn't had any TLC in quite a while, so needles going up and down. Ooh, and it looks like it's set on a zigzag, so probably this only has straight stitch and zigzag, I'm guessing. So let's see what else we have here. Feed dogs go up and down, so that's good news. And oh, it looks like I'm missing the whole tensioner assembly here, so that will have to be fixed. I did hear some parts rolling around in the bottom of the box, so I'm hoping there are some tensioner parts down in there. We'll find out. And looks like this is an oscillating machine instead of a rotary, so that is spinning. The bobbin is spinning down there, so that's good. It looks pretty gunky down in here. There's some old grease and oil that I can see right here, so this is going to need a good cleanup for sure, and a very good oiling as well. It's got a light on the back here, so that's cool, but there is no light bulb. I'll have to get a light bulb in that. I do have an extra one on hand, so that hopefully will fit in there. This motor looks like it's, oh, there's a tag right there. All right. It looks like a fairly good size motor, so maybe this will have some good power for us. Because it's so heavy, I'm hoping this will go through some of the heavy duty fabrics, like denim and some canvas or something. That would be really cool to have a machine that did some heavy duty work for us. So looks like we've got our work cut out for us. I will get this out of the box and onto the table here, and we'll get started here. Okay, so I think the best way to tackle this is to just start taking things apart. We won't know what's on the inside until we get into it and see what's going on there. So it looks like I can take this front plate off after I get a couple of knobs off here. I can take this off, and then I can kind of work my way around and take off some other parts as I go around. So we'll start here, and we will just see what we can get into here. And this is the blind stitch lever. It just has an on and an off, and I think this should just pop right out here, hopefully. Good. This is the stitch width, and it does turn. That's good news. It's got one little screw in here. A little hard to get to, but it's coming. All right, good, good. So got a little bit of oil on the inside of it. That's interesting. Okay. A couple screws here on this main plate. These old machines are so fun to open up and see what's inside and see how they work. And don't be afraid. If you've got an old machine, don't be afraid to take it apart. You know, as long as you're a little methodical about taking out your screws and keeping track of everything that you take off, you know, it's kind of gives you a better understanding of how the machine works after you get into it and see what's going on here. So it looks like there's some mechanisms in here that we can get lubricated. Oh, okay, that's what that does. All right. It's got a little bit of black plastic on it from that gear there. Okay, cool, cool. Oh boy. All right. So I was hoping this would just pop right off of here, but oh, you know what? That's why, because this needs to be loosened. And does this come all the way off? It doesn't look like it wants to. Huh. Okay. Does this? Oh, okay. Yeah, there is a screw in here. But I think that screwdriver won't fit down in there. Oh boy. I was able to get that screw loosened there. Cool. All right. That's helpful. And yeah, there is definitely some moving parts in there that that we need to get lubricated. It doesn't look too dirty or anything in there though, so that's good news. So yeah, this oil port is directly above what needs to get oiled there. So that's good news. All right, moving right along. I believe that I think I'll go to this end plate here. So I need to pivot this machine. This machine is so heavy. It is crazy. It is way heavier than any other machine I have. Oh, so definitely get a workout. I got one screw right here. I'm hoping this is the only thing that needs to come out here to take this plate off. We'll see. And, oh, nice. I'll lay this one right back here. Okay. This definitely could use some cleaning, but it's really not that bad. I mean, I've taken apart a lot older machines. This one is kind of one of the newer ones that I've taken apart. So those older ones were a lot dirtier and caked up inside here. This one's really not too bad. So we'll get in there and get that cleaned up and get it lubricated. So we'll just work our way right around here. And oh boy, oh, she's a heavy, heavy one. Okay. This back plate comes off with just a little thumb screw here. I don't think I need to take the light off. We'll see though. Nope, that'll just kind of pivot down just like that. And I will lay this over here so I don't lose track of it. And you know, this doesn't look bad at all. Gosh, it almost looks brand new in here. And see, you get this all opened up here and you can kind of see what happens inside. And I just think that's really cool. You know, if you can figure out how everything is working, then when something does go wrong, it's not a huge mystery. You can either fix it yourself or you can explain what the problem is if you needed to take it in. So just more understanding is always better. Cool. All right. Well, there's plenty in there that we can get lubricated. That will be good. I don't think I need to take the motor off. It's spinning and, you know, seems to be working fine. It's dirty, so I'll get it cleaned up as we get to that step. So we'll just work our way around here. Oh, goodness. To the wheel part. So, I believe this whole hand wheel contraption is going to work very similar to all the other machines that I've taken apart. This is the clutch, so when you disengage it, it should stop the needle from going up and down when you're winding your bobbin. That is going up and down, disengaged, still going up and down. So this isn't working, but from past experience with other machines, what I have done is take this wheel off, and there is a bushing in there that just needs to be cleaned out and lubricated. And usually once you get that done, this clutch will disengage properly and keep those gears from spinning and moving that needle over there up and down as it should when you're winding the bobbin. So we'll get this off and see how dirty that is. We just need to get that freed up in there a little bit, I think. And does this? Okay, there we go. And that is what you normally find inside there. We'll keep that screw with that. And let's see what needs to happen. This should just slip off at this point. Looks looks like it's coming a little bit. You know what? I need to take the belt off. Maybe not. Maybe if I just rock it back and forth here. Boy, it's on there. It is on there good. There is really no back and forth rocking action happening. Okay, so I ended up wrestling with this for a while to get it loosened up. What I did was get a screwdriver back behind here, and I just had to basically wedge it off. And oh, now it's ready to come off. I couldn't get it off before, but now it looks like it's ready to come off, so that is good news. All right. See if we can get this all the way off here. And that is our issue, obviously. It does have some oil on it, so that's good, but there's a lot of black residue in that oil, and you know, it was just really creating a lot of friction here, so on this bushing, and that was not letting it disengage with this clutch, you know, for the bobbin winder. So we'll get this all cleaned up, and that should help that. So it looks like that is it for the top side, everything that I can take off here. So I will switch gears, and we'll get to cleaning everything here and go from there. Okay, so we just need to get this cleaned up before we can get it back together. So I'm just going to give this a nice good wipe here with the dry paper towel and just get kind of some of the dust and old oil and stuff off here. And now that this motor is exposed, I can get this cleaned off here too. I did loosen this motor and take that belt off when I was trying to get the wheel off. Didn't really need to do that. It gave it a little bit of help, but it wasn't necessary. So we'll get that back on in a minute. So this is pretty dirty here. You can see all that black stuff coming off. It just, these metal parts weren't moving freely, so we're going to see if we can get this freed up a little bit here and get it spinning nicely. All right, that's a little better. We've got some dust down in here that we can get off now that we have access here. All right, so I want to get a little bit of sewing machine oil on this and just get that moved around there. And we'll put some in here as well. Let's get this all nice and lubricated up here in this hole. And, ooh, that slides on a lot easier than it came off. That's nice. Okay, good. So, oh, there it goes. Now I can spin the wheel. It's spinning a lot easier than it was before, and the needle is not moving up and down. So So that is exactly what we were looking for there. We just kind of freed that up in here. So this clutch is going to actually work now that when we get that tightened down. So we'll get this on here. And it is not terribly dirty, but we want to give it a good wipe before we get it back together here. Okay. And these little tabs are going to point outward and go right in those little grooves there. Whoops. Try that again. All right. And this is just going to, boy, that doesn't want to stay there. There we go. This is just going to screw right on here. And we'll get this little guy in here. Maybe I had that too tight. Okay. There we go. That wasn't in there right the first time. Okay. So there's our clutch disengage. And if we move it back this way, it's a disengage. The needle is not going up and down. And if we tighten it, the needle should go up and down, but I may have that in the wrong position. Okay, so I think I figured out what needs to happen here to get this, this thing operating properly. So I thought that these tabs faced outward, these two little tabs here. They actually face inward so that they can catch these the notches in this cam better. So I think before I had it in like this, and when I screwed this part on, my little set screw was landing right on that tab, which was not letting me move it around and engage that clutch. So I figured out that if we flip that around, so we have a tab here and a tab here, these little tabs are facing inside there. I think that we can now get this part screwed on, and that set screw will land exactly where we need it to be, which is right at the top middle there between those two tabs. And we'll get that tightened down. So if I loosen this to hit that first tab, our needle does not go up and down for when we're winding our bobbin. Tighten it, spin it, the needle is going up and down. So that's what that part wants. Just a little bit of trial and error there, and was able to figure out how that went back together. So that's that. I am going to continue the cleaning process and work our way right around the front here where we took off these front plates. And I think we'll get in here and make sure that this is all cleaned out. I do see a little bit of dust in there, so I'll just get in there with a dry brush and get that all dusted out. And that should be good. Like I said earlier, I believe that gets oiled through the oil port at the top there. So that should be fine there. I'll oil it that way. I'm gonna get this back on here, and that just screws right into that little gear assembly there. But I'm gonna move this down to where it needs to be first. Okay, that's going up and down. Two small screws to get this little plate back on. All right, and that tightens properly, moves up and down, so we should be good there. This little mechanism here, you can see this moving when I turn the wheel. Boy, that wheel is moving nice and smoothly now. That's great. So we've got some parts in there that need to be oiled. It's not terribly dirty in there, so that's good. Just a little bit of dust. And get this all cleaned up around here. And looks like it just needs a nice little drop of oil right back in here where those parts are moving back and forth from each other. That looks good. Okay, I think we can get that top plate back on now. And that is another 2 screws here. There we go. Okay. Good, good. And the little set screw for this knob is still in here, so we'll get this back on. And that is just going to tighten down just like that. Good, good. And our blind stitch switch is going right on here. And this is a tiny, tiny screw. We'll see if I can get this in here without dropping it and losing it. All right. I think I did it. Off to on. I think that's in there tight enough. It looks like it's doing its turning action. Okay, moving right along to this end plate here. We do have some more cleaning to do down on this end. This is a little dirty in here. I'll start with the dry brush and see what kind of dust and stuff I can move out of the way first. It doesn't look terribly dusty. It's just kind of got a lot of old oil and stuff in here from over the years. It's not terribly dusty though, so might be able to get a little bit of that out. And my goal here is to just get it as clean as possible. I'm not trying to get this perfect. I just want to get this machine operational so we can make a project on it. I'd love to bring you along for that. So that's what I'm working towards here. And that looks better. Definitely some parts in here that need to be lubricated. There's a lot of working mechanisms in here, so we will get some oil on each of these moving parts here. And let's see, we can get one right back in here. It looks like it's all moving a lot smoother than it was just a minute ago, so that's good. We can get one more drop right back in there. Good, good. Okay, nice. And then this presser foot lever, I think we should maybe get tiny bit of oil on that. Just get that moving up and down a little better too. All right, wipe up my excess here so I don't have it leaking out onto my project. That's not good. And I think that looks pretty good. All right, let's get this plate back on here and we'll move on to the next part. So this one should be pretty easy. That is just one screw. So all right, good, good. And now on to the back side. Oh, and I need to get this motor back on as well. Okay, this does not look terribly dirty inside here, which is wonderful. There is not really any dust or anything in there, so it just that all looks like it's good to go, aside from a little bit of oil that it needs. And you know, a lot of these parts here are oiled from these holes up here, but since I can see them so well right here, I'm just gonna get a drop of oil on each of these And we should be good with that. Everything seems to be moving so much better now. Okay. We'll get this back plate on, and that should be it for that. That just goes on with this little thumb screw here. Okay. Good. And then let's get it around here so we can get this motor buttoned up. So this slides up and down so you can have some adjustment with the belt. Judging by where it was before, I'm just looking at the marks of where that screw was tightened down before. It should be about right there. So we're going to try that. If we need to adjust it later, we certainly can. Should I probably get the belt on at this point? I know I will need a new belt at some point in time, because this is kind of looking pretty old and brittle. So we'll see if we can get this on here. Since we've got this play with the motor, we might as well do it now. Okay. That looks like it is in the right spot to me. We'll go with it. If it needs to be adjusted later, we'll do that. Okay, good. And that is working very well now. Awesome. Wonderful. Okay, well, I think the next step is to turn the machine over and take a look at the underside. I know that it will need to be lubricated. Not sure if it needs to be cleaned, so let's turn it over and we'll see what we're in for there. Okay, so I got the machine flipped over onto its back so we can see the whole underside here, and this is awesome. I expected this to be a lot dirtier than it is. For a thrift store find, this is just incredibly clean. There's no dust down here at all. Usually the whole bobbin case is all full of dust bunnies and stuff like that. And this is just wonderful. There's a little bit of discoloration around here, just maybe some old oil that has kind of accumulated and kind of dried. So I want to try to get that off, but I am just super happy with how clean this is down here. You know, I've picked up a couple machines in the past, and they are just horrible down here, and they take forever to kind of go around to all the nooks and crannies and get them all cleaned out and stuff. This is just awesome. I can't believe I was able to pick this up for next to nothing at a thrift store. So if you happen to see machines at a thrift store and you're on the fence of whether or not you can get these cleaned up and usable, just if they're not too expensive, try it, and you might be surprised. You might actually find yourself a gem like this one. So This is just awesome. And this kind of old oil accumulation stuff is just cleaning up really nicely on these little painted parts here. So that is awesome. I'm happy about that. All right, it's looking a little better. Cool. Okay, I think that we need to get probably this bobbin assembly off here just to kind of take a look at what's going on with that. And that is really just loosening these little thumb screws here a little bit. And I think these little guys will just kind of pop out the side like that. And this comes right off. That's not too dirty. Could use a little bit of wiping though here. So let's clean that up a bit. And there's a little bit of oil on the back side. This machine wasn't completely dry of oil, so that's cool. It looks like it has been used, but probably well loved. I'm just really excited that I ended up with it. Okay, so we'll pop this little bobbin out here. The bobbin case kind of probably clicks in. That's in good shape. And then this is what the bobbin sits down in. And it's a little dirty down in there. These are kind of hard to clean because this little guy right here is pretty sharp. So sometimes you can get down in here and get them cleaned out. Use the end of my brush here to kind of work that in there. And that's a little better. All right, good, good. Okay, and this is not too bad. A little bit of old oil on that as well. Okay, wonderful. I do believe I want to take off these screws here and see what's in here. We might need to get some grease in here. So we'll see what this looks like. Oh, wow, look at that. Some old grease. Okay. That is looking kind of gunked up and greasy, but it's not too bad. Things are moving in there. So that's good. That's what matters. We'll get in here and get some of this old grease out of here. It doesn't have a lot left. It's not really serving any purpose in here after all these years. So I think I'll get a couple Q-tips down in here. That's kind of the best way to get in here and dig all this old grease out of here. And that seems to be working. There's not a ton in there, so that's good. There's just a little bit though. We are going to get some new stuff down in there and make this a lot happier. So get that turned around there. think that looks pretty good. Got most of it out. Okay, so I think, oh, we better get this all cleaned out as well. We definitely don't need that. All right, good. Okay, so we're going to get some grease down in here on these gears. And I'm just using a Q-tip. And we'll just kind of turn it, kind of spread it on those teeth of those gears there. Work that around a little bit. All right, that should be good. Okay, so I believe we can put this back on, and I think that's going to go like that. Okay. Good. All right. Next, I think I would like to get, well, I think we'll go ahead and oil all of these little points first, and then I'll oil that and get it back together afterwards. So we'll just work our way around here and see what moves and what needs some oil. So this is the feed dog. You can see this going back and forth here, and it just drops the feed dogs when you turn that knob. So it looks like we should have a little bit of oil here on this little moving part. And that is good there. And just pretty much wherever anything is kind of moving around here, you just want to make sure it's nice and lubricated and moving freely. So that part looks good. Now we'll turn this wheel, and we've got a little bit there and here. And there. Okay, I think I got all of those points. Everything seems to be nice and smooth now. Okay, so I'm going to get one drop right down in the middle of this bobbin case here. And then I'm going to assemble this again. So I do believe this is going to drop right down in like that. There's 2 little pins sticking up on each side of that, and that's going to go right through those 2 holes there. And that's good. And then these little guys just kind of, with some tension, kind of hold it in there. So that's that. And now I want to get a drop right around the race here, right where this bobbin case is kind of moving around here. So we'll just do 1 drop there and move it around real good. All right. That is looking really nice. Man, I'm just really pleased with how this is working out here. I think we're going to be using this machine real soon, and I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, so we got the machine upright again, and next thing we need to talk about is the tension assembly here. As you can see, it's completely missing. I did go through what was rattling around in the bottom of the box, and sure enough, it is all of these parts that appear to be the tension assembly parts. So that's a good thing. I'm glad I have some parts here to work with. However, I've never put a tension assembly together before. So I think best way to tackle this is to try to go online, try to find a manual for this machine, and I bet somewhere there are instructions of how to put this back together. I'm almost wondering if this might be the reason that this was at the thrift store. Maybe somebody took this apart, couldn't figure out how to get it back together, and kind of just gave up on it. So I'm not about to give up on it. I will figure out how this needs to go back together. Hopefully I've got all my parts here, and I will definitely get that worked out. So yeah, well, we'll just put those aside for now. And I think what we need to do next is get this oiled. You know, we've got all these oil ports right across the top here. So I am just going to drop little bit down each of these holes here, and we should be good to go there. And there is one here on this bobbin winder. So that looks good there. This little bobbin tire is all cracked and really dry, so I think I'm going to need to get another one of those as well. So those aren't too hard to find, I don't think. So we'll get that fixed up. So I guess that just leaves the last part, which is maybe plugging this in and seeing if we can make it work. So I've got a surge protector here. I think this is a really good idea. That way, if anything pops or sparks or anything like that, when I plug it in and turn it on, it doesn't affect the whole house. So I think this is a really good idea, for especially in this situation here where we have a machine that we just don't know anything about. So I am going to plug this in, and then we'll turn this on. And we'll see. I did put a light bulb in the light in the back here, so we don't have any sparking yet, so that's good. And the light works, so that's wonderful news. I'm pretty happy about that. All right, let's give this pedal a shot here and see if it's going to do something for us. And it is. Look at that. All right, that's great. You know, it doesn't seem like it's terribly fast, but it seems like it's really strong. So this might be a good machine for going through some of those heavy-duty fabrics. And I don't have a machine that does that. So this might be the one. So that's wonderful. Okay, so I think we are good to go here. This has just been a super fun experience. I'm super pleased with how this all turned out. I can't believe that I found this machine next to nothing at the thrift store. So this kind of makes me want to go back and see if I can find another machine that we can tear apart and fix up. So that's it for this. Next time you see this machine, we will be sewing something really cool on it. So I'll get that planned out and get that figured out. So I guess thank you so much for coming along with me. Like I said, it's just been super fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.